So first off, thanks everyone. I'm Paul Kerr, so welcome. I appreciate everyone taking the time to come up here. Hopefully the drive wasn't too bad for anyone. I think it was a nice morning for a drive. And the afternoon is supposed to be great weather, and tomorrow's even supposed to be better for golf. So thanks everyone for taking the time. I'm the president of Scalar Decisions. I'm going to talk about Scalar and my history in a second. If you look at the bio, it actually says 15 years in the IT industry. I just turned 42 last week. I started working at IBM when I was 20, so it's actually 22 years in the IT industry. I was just pointing out that I should update the bio at some point. So I'm a little older than the bio says, so I've been doing this a while, and I'm going to talk about Scalar, as I said. Scalar is a solution integrator focused on the data center. And we really have 20 years experience dating back to 1991 delivering just that technology. And so our focus, most people know, we had the Sun business since 1990 in Canada. I was at that business. And really what I say is 95 to 2000, Sun was the #1 stock on NASDAQ. And really what we spent our time doing there was building out Internet 1.0. So if you were building a firewall and the web server and the application server and the database server and the SAN behind it, you kind of did a lot of that with Sun. So that was really where we cut our teeth. People were moving from this legacy mini computer, mainframe, Y2K, transitioning to client-server computing, internet infrastructures, everything else. So we have a 20-year history, $750 million in revenue across the country, delivering data center type technologies. That's all we do, and that's all we've done in the past. You roll forward sort of post-2000, everyone's sort of doing Internet 2.0, they've gotten over this Y2K. The real crux of our business for that 5-year period was all consolidation. Virtualization, VMware was acquired in 2004-5 by AMC, and that was kind of the rise of that technology. But from 2000 to 2004-5, it was all about consolidation. Every single customer had over-acquired, because it was going to continue to go on the rocket ship, so they had too much technology. So we spent our time, virtualization was not the buzzword, it was consolidation of time. We spent our days sort of minimizing architectures, taking costs out, everything else. Rise of virtualization, it's the next generation of consolidation. And as I said, it's really the leading indicator of what's going through this whole cloud infrastructure. So from a historical perspective, this whole cloud opportunity, which I put forward, is going to be bigger than that 1995 Internet 1.0 build-out that we all went through. This re-enablement of delivering services, IT infrastructure services, deploying services either in a public cloud or a private cloud, all of which will get defined, is a bigger opportunity than that opportunity is. Remember for a second, we're still in this crossing the chasm phase, so there's a lot of work to be done, and there's people who are going to jump early. There's people who are going to be skeptical if cloud is just mainframe or it's just client server, or it's just internet infrastructure all over again. That was what was said about those technologies when they were in this leading indicator phase as well. So then the numbers, we vacated the Sun business, or we actually migrated that business into, that business was called ETG. We migrated that business into Scalar in 2004 because we wanted to do more of the stack. The stack wasn't built on Sun anymore. And we just closed FY10, which for us is the end of June. It's $60 million in revenue across the country. We're about 60 employees, so we're about $1 million per employee, which is a very high number. Last 2.5 years ago, we acquired a company out of Vancouver, which was the largest sort of company doing the same thing as us, internet data centers out of the West Coast, called XSM. And then just this summer, we acquired the same sort of organization out of Southwestern Ontario. So as I said, 60 employees. IDC is here in the room, they're in the room now. They profiled us about 2 years ago. They're doing the same thing again as a unique integrator in the Canadian marketplace to come in and deliver competitive value to our customers. So we like non-incumbent situations because you've got legacy that you've got to protect. We get to walk in and say, wouldn't it be great if you could do this? Wouldn't it be great if you could enable a cloud, whatever the case may be? So we don't always win, but we always offer an alternative option, and once in a while, as I said, that option is good enough to win. And then from a growth perspective, this year, so 2 years in a row, where they actually make you wait a year, we were on the Fast 50 in Canada, and this is the Profit 100 list, so this is the top 100 companies, and again, just an external indicator on sort of who Scalar is. So that's kind of the Me Too slide, who we are. And this is the #1 slide I sort of show people, and this is kind of what we do. So I'm going to just spend a few minutes and take everyone through this. So in the yellow at the top is our, can everyone still hear me if I walk away from the mic? In the yellow at our top, on the top is our 5 practice areas. And so practice areas are what we see as big markets in the Canadian landscape, so big opportunities. Customers are spending a lot of money. They're all in the data center. They're all typically difficult problems, so they require technical investments to solve them. And so that's where we spend our time. That's our data center focus. So if you guys can read, I hope, as well as I can. Virtualization, right, which is the sort of leading indicator to this whole cloud opportunity. Data management, which encompasses all that is data, so storage and storage management and storage virtualization. Business continuity, so how do I keep the lights out, lights up, not lights out, in the event of an emergency. Network necessary component, right, and a growing component of this data center infrastructure, right, as we pump more and more data across networks. And cloud. And from our perspective, for a second, cloud is all about enablement. And so whether we, our opportunity is to come in and work with you to help you deploy and build your cloud. So the 3, I call them the 3 verbs, design, deploy, and manage. So those are really the 3 things we do or apply to those practice areas. We come in and we help design your virtualization infrastructure, your data management policies, your business continuity practices, or your cloud infrastructure. The deploy is more and more we find with our customers, and despite some of the manufacturers' attempts to make this a unilateral, homogeneous stack, the world is becoming more heterogeneous. So VMware on top of Cisco blades with NetApp storage, the world's becoming more heterogeneous. So our deploy skill sets are there to help our customers actually go in and get this stuff lit up and operational. And our manage, we are really pulled backwards into this. Is really occasionally our customers are coming in saying, small components of my stack or large components, we want you to stick around and help us manage. You've helped us design and architect it. You've helped us deploy it. There's certain components you want to help us manage. So those are the 3 verbs we apply to the practice areas. In the practice areas, we try and employ the best technical skills and train them up to be your augmented experts when you're in that particular problem. So whether it be virtualization or any of the cloud practice areas. And for us, the overriding message is data center automation. This is a relatively new term, and really it is what it says. It's all about automating your data center. So how do you make your data center this lights out, easy to operate, low cost to maintain, so that many of our customers can focus on the important stuff, rolling out your business, rolling out your clouds to your customers. Our job is to make that cloud operational, provide business continuity to it, whatever the case may be. And that's it. That's all we do. We don't do laptops. We don't do laptop bags. We don't do, right? We do data center technologies across those 5 practice areas. We do those 3 things. Design them, deploy them, so provide the services around them, and then if required, do the ongoing management of those. So Geoffrey Moore wrote a book called Crossing the Chasm. It was one of the big books, business books, certainly of the early 90s. It was 91, so this was sort of pre-internet, right? Netscape hadn't started. Netscape was 4 years late, 5 years late. And so he wrote this book about actually significant technology adoptions and how you get across them. And he wrote a book called Crossing the Chasm, and really what we're in the phase right now is in this chasm of the cloud. And so if you think about virtualization, which is kind of the leading indicator for getting to this cloud service offering that everyone is talking about, certainly everyone in the room is doing virtualization to one degree or another. So you can really call virtualization as in this early majority category. Everyone's doing it. There's no, right, you're not new if you're doing virtualization anymore. It's across all technology stacks. And so virtualization is in the early majority phase, and it's really dragging this cloud initiative behind it. And really where we're at with this cloud initiative is in this early adopters. So some people, and Chris Knowles is here from VMware, he's going to come up and talk to me afterwards. He spends his time on the state side right now with the sort of biggest of big customers enabling their cloud infrastructures for them. So he's going to talk about that. So we've got the early adopters that have made the move, right? They're starting to build out these stacks and deploy the technology. And then for the most part, and I think this is true of the Canadian marketplace, we're all starting to do analysis of what is this technology, can we get there, what's it going to take, what does it really mean, what's it defined as? And so really over the next 2 days is the opportunity to sort of go away and say, you have a new opinion, we may still leave here with differing opinions on what it is. But if you sort of think we're in this early adopter phase right now, and so how do you jump this chasm? When do you jump it? What technologies do you jump it with? That's really your opportunity to leave here with.